What is up, everybody? Spiral here, coming at you with a Uliana 6-piece build for the upcoming patch 2.6.1 Season 12. First thing I want to take a look at here before we get too far into the build is, for this video, I have capped my Paragon at 350. So we only have, we only have 100 points in utility with RCR and life per hit. 100 points in armor and life regeneration here, and then 100 points with CDR and critical hit chance here. And then we have our movement speed capped at 25%, just so we can get through that rift in a reasonable amount of time. So this is going to simulate our day 1 season 12, basically. That's the goal here. We're trying to unlock those primals as quickly as possible, and we're going to be trying to do a GR70 with the gear that we have sitting on here right now at 515,000 sheet damage, which this build is more than capable of doing. And I'm going to talk you through exactly how that goes right now. We're going to start with the Uliana 6-piece set, which was extremely buffed, as I'm sure you've already heard about. The 6-piece set now increases the damage of your exploding palm by 1800%, and 7-sided strike is going to detonate your exploding palms. So we're going to wear all 6 pieces of the Uliana's gear: helm, shoulders, hands, chest, legs, and feet. Okay. We're also going to wear the Traveler's Pledge and the Compass Rose to give us that endless walk set, which is going to give us some damage when we're standing still and some mitigation when we're moving through the rift. We're going to wear a Convention of Elements to get that elemental damage going, which in this case is going to be cold damage. We're looking for cold damage to use with that exploding palm. And then we're going to be wearing the Gungdo gears you see here, which is going to make that EP spread whenever it explodes. So every time we 7-sided strike, essentially. And then we're going to be wearing the Bindings of the Lost, which is going to give us a lot of extra mitigation with 5% damage reduction each time your 7-sided strike hits. So a total of 14 times due to the Lion's Claw here. 7-sided strike performs an additional 7 strikes. So we're hitting 14 times, getting an additional 70% damage reduction there. And then the last piece of this puzzle is going to be the Fist of Aztrask, which was also extremely buffed and gives a total of up to 500% exploding palm damage. This one actually does happen to be maxed out at 500%. I got a little lucky here on the PTR, and that's the one I'm going to be using today. Notice that none of these are ancient. A lot of my gear, while being ancient, is suboptimal. I'm not wearing either ancient fist weapon to try to keep my sheet damage lower and kind of simulate that early season feel. So let's take a look at the skills here. Wave 100 Fists Assimilation. That's going to be the fastest way for us to regenerate our spirit, and also to be able to use that Uliana's ability to apply Exploding Palm with every 3rd strike of your builders. Exploding Palm Impending Doom with the Cold Rune. That's the highest amount of damage we can get. Mantra of Salvation Agility. This is going to give us some much needed toughness. Epiphany Desert Shroud, additional toughness. Dashing Strike Blinding Speed is going to give us the fastest way to move around in a rift, in my opinion. And then it's also going to give us yet additional toughness with the Dodge. And then 7-sided Strike with the Sustained Attack rune, which is going to drop that cooldown all the way to 14 seconds before any of our additional cooldown reduction. So that is the bread and butter of this build. We're going to be doing that as often as possible. Our passives are going to be Harmony, Beacon of Etar. That cooldown reduction is going to be huge here. Exalted Soul, giving us some extra spirit and some faster regen. And then Near Death Experience as our get out of jail free card if we happen to take lethal damage and not die from it. So let's take a look in the cube here. I mentioned that we've already dropped the 7-sided strike cooldown by a good bit with the rune. We're going to drop it even further with Flow of Eternity, which is going to increase the damage by 100% and reduce the cooldown of 7-sided strike by 60%. We're going to wear the Spirit Guards, which are going to give us an additional 40% mitigation as long as we're using our spenders, which we're going to be constantly using Wave 100 Fists. And then we're going to use an Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. This is not necessarily the perfect thing. I think there's other options, and maybe there's a better option. If you can think of something and want to post it in the comments down below, feel free to do so. I personally like it because it allows us to drop a little bit of cooldown when we're using our seven-sided strike, as well as when we're setting our exploding palms onto a new enemy after we come out of our previous seven-sided strike. So that is the build, and as I said before, this is capped at 350 Paragon. So we're gonna now jump into a GR70, and we're gonna take a look at just how this build performs inside of a Rift.
I wish you luck, hero.
It is not ready yet. I grow weak. What a monstrous creature. I cannot do that. Feel the wrath of Yitar. What you ask is impossible. It cannot be done. I need healing. I must heal. What you ask is impossible. My strength returns. That ability is not yet recharged. Your strength fails. I must wait to use that ability. I have been healed. It is not ready yet. It cannot be done. My injuries are too severe. Break beneath the endless tide. This fight is over. I must heal. I must wait to use that ability. I will not do that. It is not ready yet. Your strength fails. cannot be done. Ha! A vicious strike! That ability is not yet recharged. Is impossible. I grow weak. My
Fear not, I have returned.
ha! A vicious strike.
Go down easily.
My strength fails. Aid me. Cannot be done. Break beneath the endless tide. I will not do that. I grow. Your strength fails. I must wait to use that ability.
The Rift Guardian is here.
That ability is not yet recharged. It cannot be done. It is not ready yet. My will falters.
You have triumphed. My name is Urshi, and like Auric, I once served the ancient Nephilim. When the champions of ages past had proven themselves, I would attempt to improve the clarity of what do you need?
I need to go back.